they separate the two somehow with this implant. This is what I saw on the show. And I thought about it. And I'm going, holy cow, that makes sense now. So what they're doing is, instead of using physical pain, they're using emotional pain. Emotional, something so intense that your mind shifts or splits or something, and then they are able to store information or ideas or whatever to this other area of your brain. And they can control it with the implant and switch you back and forth or whatever. And I thought it was interesting to learn that, and that was just last year. It made a lot of sense. And so back to the visit. I talked about it with my sister, and it frightened her. I asked her to go, and maybe if she was hypnotized or something, and even though they said it doesn't work, she refused to do it. It scared the heck out of her. And I think my youngest remembered the incident, but it was just me and my youngest, but everybody else, nothing. There was other things that were said during that time, the visit, about moving. I had to move. And so I did end up moving out to where my mother lived. And then I moved again. It was bizarre. But anyway, what happened after the regressions? To go back, the time came for the MRI. I don't want to leave anybody hanging on that. And I got a call from the investigator and said that the man that volunteered to do the MRIs called him up in a panic and said, I can't do it. And he asked why, and he wouldn't give a reason. He just said he couldn't talk about it, and he hung up. So they took care of it. No explanation either. And so anyway, I just said okay. So I came and before I left, I was invited to meet other people with the same experiences.
Left what? Left the city?
This was in the original place that I was with the investigator. And my sister accompanied me as my support person. And everybody there had a support person. And I'll tell you, after all those years of keeping a secret like this, and finally going to meet these people, I felt like a two-headed person living in a world with one-headed people, and I'm finally going to meet a bunch of two-headed people. It's, I felt like a freak, put it that way. And I was going to meet people like me that understood everything that I was going through. And because with it, these experiences comes a gamut of emotions and questions, and one minute you think they're good, the next minute you don't know, and anybody that's had these experiences knows what I'm talking about. That went well. It just felt so easy to be with these people, and we're all talking like it was nothing, and it felt good. Then, moving was difficult. I went through a very difficult period. And I was introduced to some other people in the new area that were also experiencers. And because of the regressions, it triggered something where I started having awake experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And the communication got stronger. And my kids were having them. And the youngest wasn't doing well with it. She was screaming she didn't want to go to bed. The ghosts were coming out of the walls, and they were taking her for a ride in the sky, and it was, I had to lay down with her to have her fall asleep. She didn't want to be alone. So that was alarming. I didn't like that. I had, there was a lot of paranormal activity, and I couldn't even begin to go on about them, but I kept having these visions. I'm also psychic,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know if this was just a psychic thing or them, but the vision was so strong, and I lived near a reservation at the time, and I knew in the vision I had to talk to somebody, and it was some kind of a holy man or something.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't believe in a lot of this stuff. I don't know anything about Native American history, and I was shown this guy's face. I was shown in my images these visions of ceremony and symbols that I was supposed to tell him, draw to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I called this woman that I knew, and she put me in touch with this other woman, and she was a Native American, and she lived on the reservation. And I told her, and she mentioned two people's names, and I said, oh, it's the second one. And I said, I know he's a holy man. I've got to talk to him now. This can't wait. This is urgent. And she came and got me, and we went on the res, and we went to his house, and I said, I got a vision for you. I feel really ridiculous, but and at first he didn't pay attention to me. He was like nonchalant about it, and I was adamant. I said, I have to talk to you now, alone. And we went outside. We sat in these chairs. And I said, this message is from, and I'm getting the information, and I'm telling him. And I said, they're from the Guardian. And I said, and I told him about the vision, the symbols, everything. And he said, yep. And everything I told him, the symbol was the Tree of Peace. The ceremony, he said it was sacred, and he couldn't discuss it with me, but he understood it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I described a picture of him, and then he went in the house and brought it out. And I said the meaning behind the picture, and he said I was correct. And I said to him, the people in my vision that are giving me this information said that you are going to hold a truth for me. And I said, what does the Guardian mean to you?
Oh, post a second.
So I said to him, what does the Guardian mean to you? And he said, it means the people from the sky. And I said, you gotta be kidding. And I said, does any of this information I gave you make any sense? He said, perfect sense. He said, I'm on my way to a meeting where the young men of this reservation they're up